All right, so we're going to tackle condenser alignment now, and this is going to be a little more interesting than what we've done previously. So grab a drink here. All right. Okay, so we've been using the 100 micron aperture, but I know that it's actually going to have us use the 50 here when we do the condenser. So I am going to preemptively adjust this here. Turn off C3. Go to the apertures panel and put in the 50. And that's off. Piezo move X, piezo move Y. That's right. Piezo move. Piezo stage is still stuck. So I'm wondering if enabling and then re-enabling the stage will knock that loose. Hopefully it's that simple. It's not something more serious. Don't really need it for this, but it's helpful to have, obviously. You want to have it work rather than it not work, certainly. All right, so we're good there. Okay. I'm gonna check the mono centering. It's actually gonna have us do some adjustments to the mono as part of the condenser alignment. They call it, I think, preparation. So I'll just take a look here. Okay, so we're a little bit off. And now again, depending on what we're doing with the condenser, we may swap this between negative to positive, okay? So we'll be on the lookout for that. All right. C2 centered, got the mono centered and spread out. Okay, gonna align my beam shift here. All right, so let's find condenser. Yeah, so we got to start by prepping the monochromator. Okay, so it's actually asking us to put in the largest C2 aperture. All right, I guess we might as well just follow the instructions. So we'll go ahead. C1's out, largest C2 in. Okay, so now it's asking us to center the mono. Okay. Okay. Try to keep this around minus, because that's what we're going to end up using when we actually image. All right, so now we're going to center the C2 aperture. And it's already, it's off a little bit here. Again, you cannot, or you don't want to, I'm not going to do it, but you don't want to click on any of these other tabs or else it's going to kill your alignment that you're in the middle of, okay? So whatever panels you want to access that you can't get to in here, you can just come down here and access them from here, okay? So that's how you get to those when it's asking you to align your apertures and you're like, well, I can't get to the panel. Well, that's what you can do. All right, center the beam. Okay, so we got a focus on the energy selecting slit. Hopefully this will actually work a little more smoothly. Okay, let's move this to the center. Not that that's really important here. I turn on high res mode. Okay, good. All right, take out your energy selecting slit. Okay, proceed. All right, center beam inside aperture. We should still be okay. So, I mean, if I go, yes, you know, unfortunately, I can't see the aperture edge. All right, so it's telling me turn focus knob clockwise to reduce magnification until. Okay, so it's doing. We did this before. Clockwise. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. All right, there we go. Let's see here. Where's my aperture edge? Yeah, I can't get to it. That's always funny. Okay, well, we'll just leave it alone then. Never understood that. Okay, so we'll just go here. Okay, find your plus key mark here. So we already did this with the mono, but we're doing this again. Now it's going to run normalization of your mono. Yeah, I can't hear monochromator or mono without thinking of the the Simpsons monorail episode. Yep, that's a classic. You sing the monorail song, then Homer at the end goes mono. No. So I've used quite a few Simpsons references in my videos here. Some of those thumbnails with Homer Simpson going, or taking a shower and getting electrocuted. Okay. All right. Use multifunction X to find beam. Bring back to same spot using X and Y. Okay. All right. So now it's asking us to under focus so that we fill the aperture rim. And of course, we can't actually see the aperture rim. So we'll tackle this, I think, in the next position here, or the next part here. Okay. All right. So we'll go next. Align beam shift. Okay, so here's where, yeah, it's having us put in the 50 micron aperture. Okay. All right, let me move to the middle here. Okay, we should still be okay on eccentric height. No, we're a little off here. Oops. Okay, wait a second here. Okay, looks good now. All right, so here's where we need to put in the 50. It's going to give us an opportunity to center this as well, so don't worry about that. But what's more concerning, well, we'll do this in a second here. Okay, so it's not giving us an option to center the aperture here. Here, let me go back here. It's not sitting well with me. Well, of course, we're in LM mode here too. So, I mean, if we do this, all right, let me check. First of all, I want to see where we're at here. Okay, so we're not too badly off kilter here with the mono. All right, this was at minus 50. All right. Okay, so now we got to do some stuff with the corrector. So we go to S core, and you need to be in the service version of S core to do this. So here I can show you where to find this. Is there a pathway? All right, let me show you here. So there's two versions of S core. There's a service version and a non-service version. Anyways, go to your C drive, find Titan. Okay, and now I believe it's in this exe folder. So let's see here. Or I could be completely full of it. Let's see. What's going on here? You come on. Yeah, S core service. Yes. So where is this? There's FluCam viewer. Okay. Yeah, so okay. This is the non-service version. So I think now that I think about it, you might have to go into service. No, we don't have to go into service. Where is this? I think it probably is in here. But I think you need to be in the service version, or okay, do we have to go? Yeah. So you need to, okay, you go into exe, there's a service folder. Okay, yeah, here it is, right here. Dcore Prime Service GUI. Okay, so that's what you have to boot up. That's what I have taped to the status bar here, or the Windows bar. Okay, but you have to be in the Service GUI, I believe, in order to do this. Okay, so anyways, all right. So we have to go to, what are we doing here? Okay, internal single channels. You want to click on DPH1, which is this, then come over here to wobble, and then it's telling you to make the bit to 12. Okay, we're wobbling the X, and so we click start wobble. Okay, and now it's going back and forth. All right, so now we're minimizing the spot movement with the focus knob. We're just going to go one click at a time, and now you see here we're on step 5. Okay, so we'll go one click. Okay. Okay, that's 3 clicks. Okay, that's getting worse. Right, clearly getting worse. and worse again. Again, you're minimizing the movement here, okay? You're not getting rid of it, but you're minimizing it. That looks probably pretty close right there. I'm going to drop this down to step 4 and see if I can't tune it a little bit better. Okay, that looks worse. So between that and that, I'm going to go with this one. Okay, that's close enough. All right. So now it's telling us to focus with intensity. Okay, and then to center the beam with your multifunction knobs. And then we can switch off the wobbler. Okay. And there we go. Okay, and it says you can iterate over the steps. So anyways, if we turn on, you can try doing this again here. So, okay, so that's worse. Okay, that's good enough. All right, so we'll stop here. All right, need to recenter beam, accurately focus beam, necessary toggle to stigmator. Okay, so what do we got here? All right, so we need to do this a little. Okay. Accurately focus beam. Yeah, we're at this crazy low mag here. Okay. All right. Okay, we got plenty of nitrogen here. All right. Recenter beam. Okay, looks good. All right. Okay. So now we've got the C3 off, so now we can actually make sure that our C2 is aligned properly. So we already have the 50 inserted. I'm going to check the mono centering as well one more time. Okay, looks good. Yeah, it's a little bit high. All right, move this down. Okay, there we go. All right, let's pull up the mono and make sure that we're centered still. Okay, so that's off a little bit. Okay. All right, focus beam to spot, center beam. Okay, toggle to condenser. Yes, we need to do that. Center beam. Again, make use of that. High res mode if you need to. Okay, now we're good. All right, so now this is probably an instance where it would be helpful to do this maybe not or over vacuum if we could. um, so I have a stored stage position for, I'm not going to move it though, we'll leave it here. So, all right, anyways, so you focus the beam to 2 spots, as small as you can make it. Okay, and now I'm going to turn off the screen marks. So we need to get these 2 spots to converge, okay? So this is where we use our multifunction X and Y. And you can see that's worse. Also worse. Okay, that looks pretty good right here. Okay, so you can see, yeah, that separates it in the vertical direction. That's the Y knob. Again, you're not concerned about the movement here around on the screen. You're just concerned about the separation of the spots. So that looks good. All right, you can toggle to shift the beam back to the middle. Okay, here we go. Nice. All right. All right, center accurately. Okay, center accurately. center accurately. And center accurately one more time. I'm going to do this so it converges. Okay, good. All right. So we already have the smallest C2 aperture centered. Go ahead and center the beam. Okay, and then we have to go back to the service GUI for S-core. And again, find DPH1. Make sure you have X checked. Start wobble. Okay, so this already looks pretty good here. Worse, just doing one click with the focus knob. Worse. Going down to, so it defaults at focus step. Oh, it was at 6. Okay, so I actually put this down to 5. Okay, I'm just going one click at a time here. No, that's worse. No, I can't really tell a difference between that and that. Okay, leave that alone. All right, we'll stop the wobble. Okay, focus spot. And center. Okay, and we could iterate this if we wanted to. It's worse. It's worse. All right, so we'll just leave that alone. If in doubt, I would always say leave it alone. If you're not sure if you need to tweak something or not, I'd probably say leave it alone. All right. Okay, center beam. Accurately focus beam. Okay, we can maybe stigmate here. Okay. Okay, good. Let me minimize this guy. Since we're having 2 screens helps. Okay. Center pattern. So we're in low angle diffraction mode. We're seeing this beautiful cross grading diffraction pattern. And it looks like we're already pretty well stigmated too. Turn on high resolution mode here. All right, it's good. All right. Center beam, adjust size with intensity. Okay. Okay, so now we're doing the rotation center. Okay, so toggle to R2, and we need to minimize the shifting of the image. So we're doing rotation center. Okay, very good. Okay. Okay, it's doing the same thing now in probe mode here. So let's see here. So there's two ways you can do this. I personally prefer to just look at the picture, but the other thing it's telling you to do, right, is you can actually make sure the beam goes in and out, right, like this, to minimize beam movement, right? So you can actually see here. Let me throw this off so you can see, right? See the beams moving off center. Okay. Personally, I prefer to just look at the image here, make sure it goes straight in and out. Okay, that should accomplish the same thing. You can use the focus step to adjust the modulation. Okay, or otherwise you can do it like that. Okay, looks good. All right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and save the file here. All right, so we're gonna move on to focus plus calibrate microprobe mode. Center beam. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing several times here. All right, so let's see if we can't. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. All right, let me turn, stop. Okay, focus spot with intensity. Okay, and then center with multi-functions. Whoops, crap. All right, what did I do? I didn't toggle here. Let me, hold on. What's this? Here, I'm gonna go forward one and then I'm gonna go back because I missed this here. Try this one more time. Okay, center beam. All right, that's fine. Stop. Okay, it's already centered. And now you could toggle to R2 here. Okay, good enough. There we go. Yeah, you got to be careful with that though. I mean, it tells you sometimes you have to toggle here, so you might be, tweaking the thing you didn't think you were tweaking. So confusing, a little frustrating sometimes. All right, so let's go. Next step. All right, focus and center diffraction pattern. Okay. Okay, same thing. Start wobble. Minimize spot focus. worse, better, worse, better. Okay, that looks better. That looks worse. That looks better, worse. Okay, that looks good there. Stop. Okay, focus with intensity again. I'm gonna switch to high res mode here. Okay, now we have to toggle to R2 here. Okay, there we go. All right, focus beam accurately. All right, it's asking us if we want to stigmate. So all right, so now here's where it's calibrating the illuminated area. So you got to center one of the cross gratings here. Now here's where, again, this is why, you got to be careful. Like if you stigmate a crossover, then you expand the beam. So in my opinion, right, you need to stigmate with the beam expanded here. So if you find stigmator, the condenser, you can do this again. Because you need this to be stigmated reasonably well here for this to be accurate. Okay, that looks okay. All right, so basically we have to expand this so it's 6 squares wide. So we put 1 right in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so basically we're good. All right. Okay, and yeah, it said if necessary, toggle to stigmator. Okay, could have pushed R2, but we're good. All right, next. Now it's going to say press R3 to update calibration, okay, which I just did. Next again. Okay. So now we have to adjust the rotation center. Okay, looks good. All right, so now we're doing the same thing in probe mode here. Okay. Okay, so the image is not moving here, so we're good to go. Okay, again, the other route you do here, you can minimize actually the movement of the beam. I don't like to do it this way. I think this doesn't actually give the most accurate result, but this is what it's actually telling you to do. So actually, if we spread this out now, yeah, so we're going to see like that's way off as far as rotation center is concerned. Oh, it's actually not off too badly here. Got some, yeah, see, I don't like it's doing this with the, there you go. If you click on the histogram, that'll freeze it, so it's not going all bonkers like this. Okay, yeah, so that's reasonable. Was looking at the picture, but yeah, again, if you do this with the beam itself, okay, so that looks good there. Again, there's a direct alignment for this when you're actually in microprobe STEM mode here. Okay. Okay. Right. Just curious if we minimize the actual image shifting here. Yeah, so that's a little bit different. So, okay. That's minimizing the beam shifting. Okay. So we're good there. Sorry, not trying to belabor this. All right. Natural. All right. So now we're going into nanoprobe mode. So we got to make a few tweaks here. Okay. So the first thing is we have to adjust the mono. Okay. Um, we don't want to do align. We don't want to use your multifunctions here because if we do, if it's gonna start putting stuff over here. Okay. So we don't want to export anything to the corrector. Let's see, mono tune. Okay, so we want this positive 40, just like we would be doing when we're actually using nanoprobe to do STEM. Okay, now, in my opinion, um, this, we can do a lot of this in vacuum. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna update this. I'm gonna click update film. Okay. But I'm gonna actually go over to where I know there's just a hole. Okay. So I have this already pre-stored. So I'm gonna go here. Okay. All right. State of correction, user beam shift. Okay. Center beam, focus beam accurately. I'm gonna click on high res mode here. Okay, so now here we've got some astigmatisms. This is ATA1. This doesn't have to be perfect. And then we can adjust the beam tilt. Okay, so you click beam tilt here. To center the spot in the halo. There we go. Right, so we're gonna focus this. I've seen some discrepancies with this, okay? So you got to be kind of careful here. Like if we're just minimizing, like we're getting rid of this halo here. So right about there, that's clearly minimum, okay? And then if we go the other way, then we're making it bigger. So, you know, you have this spot here. What I've seen though is, and unfortunately we're at spot 3, so this is not ideal here, but um, focus beam accurately. So as you're trying to just focus this to where you start to see like a hot spot here, right? At least that's what we do when we're in stem mode, right? Normally we're at a much higher mag than this, so that's why this is a little bit misleading. But I mean, it seems to me anyways, we'll go here to minimum size right here. Okay. Use user beam shift. Okay. Again, you don't want to toggle to the condenser stigmate or else that's going to export elements to here, okay? We want these all 0. All right, next step. Excuse me, had a little itch in my ear. All right, you can see we're now at spot 10. So now this is nanoprobe TEM. So now it's okay to mess with these here, okay? We're not actually, in nanoprobe TEM, we're not sending anything to the corrector. Like you can see, I adjusted the beam shift. These are unaffected, okay? Let me go ahead, click on high resolution mode. Okay, so it's saying focus accurately. So we can actually toggle to the stigmators now. And focus that. Yep, right about there. Okay. Okay. Focus central beam of diffraction pattern to a spot. Okay, so now this is toggle to diffraction stigmator R2. So we don't have a diffraction pattern right now, obviously, because we don't have anything over the sample. What I'm going to do now is actually move back to where we were. Okay, so that's stigmated. So line diffraction shift. So now there's 2 ways to do this, okay? So we can do this with the ring method, okay? Or if you have your diffraction camera length calibrated on your SATA camera, you can actually use that as well. So you don't have to do it this way. So, I mean, I'll show you both of these methods here, okay? But we need to move back over to the other location. So we'll go film. Okay. Now my only concern here is that we're going to be probably a little bit off from the height because we're a nanoprobe here, so I should have done that when we were back 2 steps. All right, well, all right, let me do this here. I'm going to do this correctly, so let me go back and do this correctly. All right, so let's go back here. Just want to make sure we have the right height here. This is critical, and we might be able to do it here, actually. Okay, that seems reasonable. Yeah, so you can see the pattern. So I brought the beam to crossover. So if we converge that ring till it goes away, so right about there, right? So then it starts to come back. Okay, so right about there. Okay, so we're at the right height now. That's the takeaway. All right. Again, this is nanoprobe TEM, so it's not a big deal to fudge with your condenser stigmator here through the UI. Okay. All right. Okay, so we could have done this on step 1 or step 2. The objective lens is the same in both of those. That's the important part. Okay, but now we are at the right height. And now we can, okay, so we need to stigmate this. Turn this off. Okay, that's reasonable. It's a little bit off kilter as it's going through crossover. Shouldn't say off kilter. It's not perfectly maintaining its symmetry as it goes through crossover, but that's okay. It's close enough. Okay. Yeah, right about there. All right. Turn off the stigmator. Okay, so method 1 of doing this is we put the beam stop in, actually. That's going to make this easier to see. Okay, so we need to estimate the first diffraction ring here. If you hold down shift when you drag, let me switch this to temperature. Does that make it easier to see? I think so. Maybe. Uh, yeah, no, it's up to you. What's easiest for you to see? Okay, that looks reasonable there. All right, so that's your diameter of your first diffraction ring. We stigmated the direct spot, so we're good there. So let's go next here. Okay, so now it's focus the spot here. Okay, so now we need to adjust with intensity until we have the same diameter as the ring that we just drew, okay? So it's something about there. And one thing I find here, we may be contaminating some, I'm moving around just locally here, but that looks reasonable here. The other way to do this, okay, and let me find the blank here. Where are you? Okay, the other way to do this, right, is if you calibrated your camera length already for the SATA camera, you can do this with the SATA camera, okay? So we know that that's the first ring of the gold palladium cross grading. So if we come over here to help, let's see, we want to search. No, what am I doing? Alphabetic and okay, let's see if we can. We want beam tilt. There we go. Okay, so this is the file here. So basically, ring one, it's giving us a, and this will change depending on your voltage. So this is accurate for 200 kilovolts. Okay, but it's telling us the D spacing and the angle. Okay, so so this would be twice the Bragg angle specifically. Okay, so basically, if we want to know what the radius, so the radius of the disk in terms of millirad is this. Okay, but if we want to know the if we want to know the radius in terms of reciprocal nanometers, right? What we have to do is we have to multiply this by 1 over the D spacing, okay? So that's going to give us the value in delta K units, okay? Because wavelength times angle, or sorry, no. So angle divided by wavelength is going to give us 1 over the D spacing, okay? So therefore, if we, let me think here, 1 over the D spacing. Lambda times D. No, that shouldn't work. Hold on, I'm thinking here. Okay. All right. So delta K times lambda equals alpha. So we have to divide this angle by lambda to give us delta K. All right. So if we do this here, pull up the calculator. All right. So we have 0.01086 divided by 0.00251. So I'm using reciprocal nanometers. Okay. So yes, so the radius of the disk is 4.327 reciprocal nanometers. Okay. That should have the same answer here. So if we do this here, so if we do 0.237, yes, so it's the same answer here, okay, which is the same as 1 over D. All right, so now if we come over to if we pull up the SATA camera, I'm going to have to restart this, so I'll just stop it and restart it. Okay, no, it's here. We can click Start. Okay, we pull this down to a short time, so we're not frying anything. Screen out of the way. Okay, so And again, this is assuming that we've already calibrated this, okay? This will not work if you don't have the SATA camera already calibrated, okay? But now we can click here on annotation, click shift, and we can actually, right, type in a radius here. So it's very, very close, as you can see, right? What we're trying to get was, okay, 4.329, 4.33, or, right, this angle divided by the wavelength, which should be the same as 1 over the d spacing, okay? So it's very, very close to what we were expecting to get here, which is good, okay? Which is good. We're talking about probably an error of less than 1% here, okay, in terms of the measured value of alpha, okay? So we have confirmation of this using 2 methods. So we are good to go. This is the most important thing probably in the STEM, really, is to make sure you have your angles right and accurate, okay? So you really need to do the best that you can to dial this in. Okay, so we have this here. Click next. I'm going to get rid of this and then press R3. I like to press it extra firmly when it's doing these update calibrations, because I'm just kind of paranoid like that. And we'll go next. All right, turn this off. Switch out of high resolution blue cam. All right, so we're going to do the same thing that we did before in microprobe mode, where even though we would probably never do this in nanoprobe mode, but we're going to spread the beam out here, and we're a nanoprobe TEM. So again, we can use our condenser stigmators here and not worry about sending anything to S-core. Okay, but just like we did before, we have this centered, and we're going to expand so we get our 6 gratings in 2 directions. So we got 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? And then you can look around the edge here and say, is it centered? It looks close. Looks like maybe we're a little bit long that way. So again, we can okay. And that's pretty good right here. Okay. All right. And again, if we come a little closer to yeah, so that looks pretty good. All right. So something about like that. Okay. Right. Okay. Press R3. Press it extra firmly. Next. All right. So again, we're a nanoprobe TEM, so we can do this directly, but we're minimizing the image movement here with the rotation center. The image movement. So I made it worse. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we're in actual probe mode, so we don't want to use the rotation center here, or else that is going to send something to the beam tilt here. Okay, I'll show you just so you believe me. Okay, see, it's adding to the beam tilt. Okay, so we don't need to do anything here. Okay, just leave this alone. If it was already 0, don't do what I did and make it not 0. Come on. Come on. So I'm never going to get it back to 0. There it is. Come on. Close one. All right. So we don't need to do anything here, okay? Again, if you toggle the R2, again, it's gonna add here, okay, to beam shift. So if you want to mess with this, again, come here to user beam shift in S-Core, and you can shift it around like that, okay? So you can see I'm shifting it around. Okay. And we are good to go. So as always, at this point, since we're through this, I'm going to click save and overwrite the file. Okay. And so the last one here is focus Lawrence or Lorentz. All right, so let's go ahead to next here. All right, so we got to spread the beam out here. Let it be in the middle here. And because we were just in nanoprobe, which I don't like that it doesn't give us a chance in SA mode here. We'll do this. Okay, hopefully we can see enough here. I can't tell. I can't tell. Okay, so looking at these things here, like I'm just putting my mouse on this. Okay, I think we're still pretty close here in terms of the height. So, yeah. All right, so I'm not going to mess with it. For some reason, the stage movement is a little wonky here in this mode. Come on. Let's turn this off then, because we don't need this apparently. Come on. Okay. All right. Turn this off. Center beam. Oh, you know what? Yeah. So, let's see. Center beam. All right, what do we need to do here? I think this will undo. Now we're going all the way back to preparation mono. No, let's go. Okay, we'll go back to focus Lawrence here. Okay, center beam. Let's see. I think we can do this even with the beam spread out like this, so it's not a big deal here. Again, we already have, where is it? There we go. No, where do we go? Currently using, so why is it not showing this? There's channels, so where is my, it's saying it's wobbling it, but it's not wobbling it. internal. There we go. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. Focus spot accurately. Okay. Now we toggle to the DP11 offset and we center. Come on, what are you doing? Okay, there we go. Stop the wobble. Again, this is something, if you don't have a corrector, you're not going to have to do this, but you have to do this because we have the corrector in the illumination system. All right. Oh, you know what? I did it again. All right, let me come back here. I have my monochromator not set the right way. All right, let me spread the beam out here again. Here. So monochromator tune. We'd have to go back to positive 40 here. Or negative 40, I should say. Okay, so we're not off by that much. Okay. All right. All right, we already did this here, so we should still be, we can do this again though, just, this says you can iterate this, so. Okay, it's basically not moving. So, I mean, if I go one click, yeah, it moves more. Okay, so that's good. All right, stop wobble. Toggle R2. Okay. Yeah, I cannot imagine how complicated this would be if you had an image corrector as well as a probe corrector. That would be a lot of very complicated, to say the least. All right, so we're good there. Okay. Focus intensity. All right, so we're good there. Center pattern. Good there. And we're gonna turn on the same wobbler. Ooh, wow. Okay, let me go to step 4. Worse. Worse. I can't go any finer than that. What's going on? Can't go any finer than that for some reason. Okay, so it's between there and there. So what's it gonna be? Yeah, I'm thinking that one actually. There's that one too. I don't know which one. They're both. We kind of, again, splitting hairs here. You drive yourself crazy if you keep doing this. So, all right, I'm just going to settle. All right, I'm going to settle on this one. That's fine. Stop. All right, focus spot. Okay, toggle to offsets. Good. Okay. All right, center beam. Focus beam accurately. Okay, adjust beam size to fill the screen. Okay, there we go. Toggle to R2 to minimize image movement. There we go. Looks good. All right. Okay. Use focus step to adjust modulation. It's not really modulating much, huh? But you're trying to minimize the beam movement again, but it's barely moving to begin with. Okay, so I guess there's not much we can really do here. So, okay, we'll have to leave this one alone. So we're not getting as much oscillation out of this as we would like to think. If I just do a little, yeah, so not helpful, unfortunately. I mean, if I turn this off all the way, see, I can't even turn it off all the way. I'm turning the focus ring and it's not doing anything. So not sure what to make of that. Yeah, you can see see how this is not centered inside of the ring here though. So we can actually use that to help us dial this in. Because this should be, you can see the diffraction pattern. So it should be more centered like this. So yeah, so that's a little bit better that way. I mean, if we do, that's beam shift still. All right, let me, Okay. Yeah, so we're not getting enough oscillation, but that's okay. All right, so we'll just do it. Okay, we'll center it like this. That's fine. Center it inside. You can see the ring right there. I think if we switch to temperature, yeah, you can see it a little better that way. Okay. All right. Save. And we're done. All right. So that is the full condenser alignment. Go ahead and shift this back here. Okay. All right. So next video is going to be tackling the last of these supervisor alignments, which is stigmators. Okay. And that one should actually be fairly quick to do.